Hello, it's Cheryl Schubert and John Schubert here back at you. It's been a couple of months since we chatted with you about our move to Spain, and we have some exciting things going on. The ball is rolling, and so we want to come back and share what's going on and where we're at.
Yeah, the ball rolling, that's an understatement. Yeah, things are getting real. We're about what, 2 weeks out now before we actually get on a plane and visit our son down in Alabama and then take a trip down to Atlanta and we're right to Valencia.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's actually 2 weeks from today that we get on the plane to Spain. As John mentioned, we have been waiting basically until we go to Parents Weekend to see our son, who's a freshman, and we go see him on the 10th. So we'll go see him, say goodbye, check out his life there, make sure he's good, which I'm sure he is because we talk to him. We don't talk to him a lot because he's so dang busy having the life of his dreams. But we're going to go check on him before we head out to Spain. So um, we have been so the last I think last time we spoke to y'all was middle of June, and we had just completed our second downsizing. We had sold our home of what 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and then we moved into a new place. It was about a third of the size, gotten rid of a lot of our things, and then at the end of May, we did that again and got rid of most of our furniture, a lot of our clothes, just a lot of things that we hung on to. And you know what? I don't miss any of it. It's been amazing to just let go of things and create more space for our adventure. So we are now in Breckenridge for a couple of weeks because we're technically homeless, couch surfing a little bit. So we decided let's just go up to the mountains. The peak of the fall had some amazing colors. So far, we've seen two sets of moose hanging around the building, which was super cool. And thought we'd just come and give you an update on where we are. So, John, why don't you chat a little bit about kind of the ball? But now that we have the ball rolling, as I said, what's that ball all about, and where are we?
Well, yeah, like Cheryl mentioned, one of the biggest challenges that we've had to face is downsizing. What's important to us? I like to joke around that we went from 7,000 square feet down to 2,000 square feet down to two suitcases. And I'm actually enjoying this total minimalist mode here where I don't feel bad having, like right now, I've got about a dozen t-shirts, a couple of things with a collar to look nice, to dress up. I do got to figure out the shoe situation though. Shoes do take some space traveling, but the beautiful thing is we're going to spend 2 months out there. We'll be back, after those 2 months to kind of reconfigure and figure out what else we need to get us through, to get us there for the long haul. But really, right now, what we're focusing on is, uh, or at least what I've been focusing on is the visa. Allowing the Spanish government or allowing us to stay in Spain for an extended period of time. And with that process, and that's probably the process that's at least stressed me out the most because there's a lot of unknown and anything with the government and being able to show, your information. It feels like you're getting a mortgage, or at least that's the way when we talk to some of the attorneys made it feel. And yeah, I could understand that because we would talk to attorneys and they would charge anywhere from, $2,500 all the way up to like $7,000 just for their fees and services and kind of holding your hand to get done what needs to get done. And after interviewing what 3 or 4 different attorneys or services, we actually did find one, and they simplify the process so much for us. To where I could actually sleep at night and not wake up in a cold sweat, going like, "Oh my, we're never going to get there." But so far so good. We'll find out in probably about 2 months when we actually submit. But the process has been, once somebody actually sat down and broke down the process and kind of made it sound a lot easier than it actually might be. Yeah, that helped us out significantly. So yeah, we'll keep you in the loop on how that all goes. But that's the biggest thing that I've been working on so far.
And I think the one thing that maybe people might get confused on or not realize is that when you submit a visa, most of your documentation has to be incredibly timely, very, very recent. So you can't decide, I want to move in 12 months and work on your visa now and say, oh, I don't want to start for 12 months. I say, no, no, no. When you're ready to go, give us your information. And I think the background check is good for 6 months. I think maybe it's 90 days. By the way, if you have a clean record, it comes back in less than an hour. So that was high five to us that we got through the background check super quick.
That's if you do the digital fingerprinting.
Okay, there you go. That's
So,
I did something learned
fun
today.
fact.
Yes. But most of these documents have a time limit, and then you need to get them all within their respective times, have them, they call it apostolized, which is basically a notary that's recognized at the federal government level. And then you need to have them translated, and then you need to submit them all within while they're still valid. So that's kind of why we're just starting to work on this. I think it was about a week and a half ago we submitted for the background check, because that's the one that takes the longest to get through the process. And we're gonna, as John mentioned, we'll be in Spain for 2 months initially before we come back for Christmas, and we're hoping to submit while we're there. And yeah, then we're ready to rock and roll. And it's exciting. It's we're learning a ton, and in the process, learning a lot, not just about Spain and how things work for them, but just what other people are telling us about different areas or asking questions, and then going to look for those as well and saying, oh, well, this is not that different than this, or it is very different than this other thing. And so we kind of are learning a lot about just the whole process in general. And we're going for the digital nomad visa, which is available in close to 7 countries now. And that allows you to work outside the country. In the case of Spain, they require that you make 80% of your income outside the country. And then, of course, they want you to spend it in their country. And so that's what the digital nomad visa is all about. So there's almost 70 countries that support those now. The other popular visa is the non-lucrative visa, which basically means you're not working anymore and all your money is passive. It could be retirement income, it could be real estate, it could be a company you own but you aren't running. So those are like the two key visas. But because we know we are going to keep working, we're continuing to build businesses. John, actually, he's just getting ready to launch his, where he's an options trader, and he gets questions all the time about what that looks like. And because so many people ask us, like when we're started to talk about moving, the number one question we got was, well, are you retiring? Well, what are you going to do for income? Right. So that's the second question. So I think it's kind of fun that John's now building something that can answer that second one. But there's so many options that people can look into as far as transferable skills and helping people move to a new location, even though their career may or may not support them in doing that directly. There's ways that you can still support yourself given what you already know and what you do. So super exciting. We, as I said, we're leaving Colorado in 10 days, and then leaving for Spain 4 days later. So it's getting real.
Yeah, and I've been working on my Spanish. Excuse me. Yeah, that's been the fun part here, trying to yeah, the realization that, like, oh my, I don't know the language probably anywhere near as I should. Granted, Spain does have a very large expat community, and a lot of Spanish people within the cities do speak English. However, I don't want to be that stupid American and just point and smile the entire time. So yeah, I try to take a 45-minute walk, and I'm using Pimsleur, which is was highly recommended, and I like the way that it's conversational. It's not just straight vocabulary, and it keeps you on your toes. But yeah, learning a foreign language on the fly, even though I took Spanish in 7th and 8th grade, and maybe even my freshman year in high school. So at least there's a base knowledge to it. But my wife reminds me pretty quickly and often that now I've got a long way to go. But yeah, it'll be a fun experience.
By the way, I don't do that on ppurpose. It's just when he asks a question and he asks me how to say something, I kind of help him out. So that's the reminder. I don't tell him he has a long way to go. It's what it is. But the app has been great because I've been using it too. You can pick whatever level you're at, and you kind of get in the middle of conversations with the app, and there's some flashcards, there's some pronunciation work, and all the different things like that just kind of help boost your confidence. And I'll tell you, the number one thing I'm learning is that I try to speak Spanish too fast. I try to blend in too much, and I just stumble over all my words. So my number one thing I'm trying to practice on is to think and then speak rather than just blurt out whatever sounds close. So I'm working on getting a little more conversational, but we're not too worried about that when we get there. And yeah, it's almost here. So thanks for listening. If you have any questions about what we're doing or where we're at or what that might look like for you or whatever, just shoot us some questions, some comments, and we will be happy to tell you what we've learned.
Yeah, and actually, once we actually get boots on the ground, yeah, we'll be presenting a hell of a lot more often. Because yeah, we don't know what we don't know. We're learning on the fly, and we're hoping that my goal is come out and visit us, and yeah, see what a wonderful world there is outside of the United States.
Absolutely. All right. Take care. See you next time.